Good to have you back with us on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Big story today. The Trans-Pacific Partnership apparently is done. I don't know if it's tentative or they think they got it and just want to announce it early. But Froman, the trade negotiator for the United States of the Obama administration, came out and made this announcement.
After more than 5 years of intensive negotiations, we have come to an agreement that will support jobs, drive sustainable growth, foster inclusive development, and promote innovation across the Asia-Pacific region. Most importantly, the agreement achieves the goal we set forth of an ambitious, comprehensive, high standard, and balanced agreement that will benefit our nation's citizens. TPP brings higher standards to nearly 40% of the global economy. In addition to liberalizing trade and investment between us, the agreement addresses the challenges our stakeholders face in the 21st century, while taking into account the diversity of our levels of development. We expect this historic agreement to promote economic growth, support higher-paying jobs, enhance innovation, productivity, and competitiveness, raise living standards, reduce poverty in our countries, and to promote transparency, good governance, and strong labor and environmental protections.
Well, I tell you what, folks, that is a mouthful. I've never heard a trade agreement do so much with one swipe of the pen, if it's true. And the fact is, it's not true. It's a fraud. And Froman has been out in front and center selling this garbage to the American people. And time will only tell who's on the right side of history. The United States has never done a trade deal ever that has given us net jobs growth in this country. This will attack the pharmaceuticals and, of course, favor Wall Street. This is going to hurt the automobile industry in a big way. And, of course, agriculture. And these were the stumbling blocks down the stretch. Let's turn now to Global Trade Watch's Lori Wallach. Lori, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ed. Unhappy morning, I'll tell you that. This is a bad deal.
Well, it is a bad deal, and I know you've put your heart and soul into stopping it, as I have. First of all, let's talk about, is there a chance that Congress would vote this down? Because it's going to go to them on an up or down vote.
Well, yes, I think there is. And a lot of it is going to depend on whether the American public tells their members of Congress they don't want this deal that is going to offshore many more U.S. jobs, push down our wages by throwing American workers into competition with those in Vietnam who make less than 60 cents an hour, and that is going to flood us with unsafe imported food and products and jack up medicine prices.
Okay. So that's the gist of it. The agricultural industry, the automobile industry, the pharmaceutical industry. Is this a done deal, or is this just a window dressing announcement? Is there any way that there may be one or several of the 12 countries involved in this Pacific Rim that would turn it down, which would kill the whole deal?
I think that it's in several countries it's going to be in trouble. But honestly, I think it's the U.S. Congress that's the most likely to save us all from the damage of this deal. And let me tell you what already has happened. Ford Motor Company, a company that has supported every past trade agreement, sent out a news release this morning urging Congress to oppose the deal as is. It doesn't have any rules to stop the other countries from cheating by dropping the value of their currencies and dumping exports on us. It has a set of standards about what gets into our country without tariffs that basically would give a lot of Chinese parts and Chinese value in Japanese cars a special deal, even though it's not in the agreement, it's not reciprocal. And so if you've got a company like that that's always been for the agreement, plus you've got a whole bunch of members of Congress who are really irate about the kind of things that the administration did to get the deal. Because it's true that the deal was, it was a question about whether the deal could be done. And so there was a lot of fussing around to try and make it happen so that a lot was given away just in the name of a deal, any deal.
Well, I'm anxious to see if General Motors steps out the way Ford is. Ford basically, and I'm taking a stretch here, is probably concerned about the automobile parts industry, which this deal says that so many parts in an automobile coming into the United States can still be labeled an American car when it's got 70% of Chinese parts in it. And this is going to gut the plastics industry, the rubber, the upholstery, the glass, the electronics, all of the components that go into any kind of auto part that goes into a Ford truck or car. And so I think that's really where they're going with this. The automobile industry, this is going to hurt jobs in Ohio, where I just visited last week. It's going to hurt jobs in Michigan and Pennsylvania. No doubt about it. And it's going to set the table for foreign manufacturers to come into this country with cheaper labor, and this will drive down. And the interesting thing about this, Lori, is that Froman says that this is going to address poverty in all of these nations. What do you make of that?
They've done polling and focus groups to figure out how they ought to talk about this agreement, regardless of what's in it. He's been saying the same things before the agreement was done, after the agreement was done. 4 years ago, he was saying the same thing. They're just trying to sell us a total pig in a poke. The bottom line is, even before these last sort of deadlocks, delays of the last couple of weeks in making a final deal, the stuff that's going to kill American jobs was in there. Because, Ed, at the heart of this agreement, there are the provisions in the investment chapter that literally incentivize the offshoring of jobs by creating all kinds of special protections and privileges for the companies that ship jobs offshore. So that was there, that was done 6 months ago.
Was the investor-state trade dispute ever addressed in this in the final hours?
The investor-state dispute resolution, the corporate tribunals where foreign corporations can basically attack our domestic laws and extract bribery money out of our treasury for the price of having to meet the laws our firms at home do, that is still in there. And they're basically fibbing again because the whole thing's been so secret. They can say whatever they want. You can't see the text. They're pretending they fixed that. But actually, it's the same old, only it's Vietnam and it's Malaysia. And then there are all kinds of things in there that are worse. I mean, the thing that had it jammed overnight was a deal that would basically make it more expensive for people to be able to get the cutting-edge cancer drugs. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's in there that is so bad, that is going to undermine so much of different parts of our lives. It's not just we're all going to lose jobs and see our wages go down. They're going to jack up medicine prices. We're going to get flooded with unsafe food. There are even provisions in there that could mess with your access to the Internet. It's like a corporate boondoggle branded as a trade agreement.
It's amazing. I'm so disappointed in this president. This is going to erase a lot of good. Several union heads went to him and said, why are you doing this? He said, we're too far down the road to change, which is about the worst answer you could ever come up with. Every single union in this country is against this deal. The very people that put Obama in office, he's turning his back on. And I think he's a complete turncoat to the people that put him in office. No one wants this deal except Wall Street.
Well, here's the thing. We can make that a reality because already this morning, the whole cycle of news stories, all they say is, they made a deal, but we're not sure it can get through Congress. They made a deal, but Congress is going to be really peeved. Yeah. And we all have to add fuel to that fire. Our jobs as citizens is to keep our eyes open and our mouths open, and that means telling Congress to vote no. We can stop it still, Ed.
I'm going to be in Washington later this week, working the Hill, talking to some House members on this, and also some in the Senate. And watch the Congressional Black Caucus on this. Will they give Obama this deal? Because this is going to make it doubly tough for minorities in this country to get the kind of living wage that they need to bring them up to the middle class. There's no question about that. Lori Wallach, great work. We'll do it again. Stay on this story and stay on the vote as you always have. Thanks so much, and I appreciate your work.
Thank you.